guys, welcome back for a final update on the Bow Invoker. I have reached level 86, almost level 87, and things have been progressing very smoothly. I am getting to this point with the build where I basically have two choices. It's to sink a lot more currency into it to continue to progress it further, or start looking at other stuff to play. And with the excitement around all the new classes, all the new uniques, I've kind of decided to stop here. I might progress it, but I'm about 90% sure that there's a build I want to work on. So this is kind of where I'll be leaving it. I'm comfortably clearing everything above tier 14 maps, running breaches. I did actually complete the Breach Lord encounter, so I was able to grab the 2 extra points here for it. And essentially, where I'm at with the character, the next big upgrades are if we're continuing down the Orb of Storms route, which likely will be nerfed or changed, or um, something's going to happen to stop this interaction, probably. But if we were to continue progressing with that, we would want to pick up a Thief's Torment ring. They're about 100 exalts the last I looked, and that really does solve the issue with single target. I mean, single target is insane, except when you don't have mana. So getting Thief's Torment really resolves that. Now, that is probably going to be changed. If that does happen, I think Tornado Shot can achieve similar effects with like shotgunning on top of bosses. However, I haven't really put it into full practice. Or we could always go back to using Magnetic Salvo if we had to, which is also an extremely strong ability. So I'll give you a quick rundown on my gear and passive tree and show you what has changed and what my kind of thoughts and opinions are. So starting with the bow, it's the exact same bow as before. This is another big kind of pain point for the build. If I want to upgrade and move forward, I basically need to drop 100 to 150 plus exalts on a bow, and that would be like my entire currency, and that would be a great option if I was going to continue the character. But I think about all the builds I could play for 150 exalts, and I'm like, yeah, I'd rather kind of do that and explore more of what's out there right now. Um, across the board, we just found gear with more life, more resistances, and basically open sockets that we could get chaos resistance in. Right now, I am overcapped. I believe I've passed all of the negative resistances you receive through mapping. Even if it takes another 5%, I'm still good. We're at 72% chaos resistance. Unfortunately, I couldn't just quite get all the way there, but the character is still unbelievably thick. So the helmet, amulet, quiver, I got 2 amethyst rings, and then I did upgrade the chest piece as well. But yeah, one thing to note is basically running these soul cores for 7% chaos resistance in everywhere that I can. It's a big source of your chaos resistance. I don't know how you can get too much more, because finding gear with chaos resistance on it is very expensive. Like 18% on these boots plus the 7%. I think these were even like 40 or 50 exalts. So it starts to really ramp up in cost when you want to get, big life and, like a damage mod, or, 3 resists or whatever. And then also trying to get chaos resist on top of that. Obviously you can't get 3 and chaos, but you know what I mean. It just starts to get very expensive. So this is what the gear looks like. Overall, it's looked really good. It's felt really good. The build is incredibly strong. I've farmed probably close to 300, 350 exalts just spamming breaches wherever I could using all of my tablets. I could probably do like a brief overview of how I earned my currency or what I did, but really it's just breach. Essentially what I did was on the map, I just try to progress to like a new area, right? So I would just like want to go somewhere new. Like, so I would be like, head over here. And as soon as I find this tower, I get to this tower, and then when I have the most available maps to me, then I throw in a breach stone, and then I try to like work to another tower nearby, and then I throw in those irradiated tomes. So let's see. Yeah, one of these. So I throw in like one of each of these. That way I'm leveling the area, and then I'm also putting breaches on a bunch of the maps. And then I would just go and do all the breaches. I think bossing is also very strong. However, I haven't really looked into it as much because just breaches have been so much fun. So yeah, just breach. The monster density is incredible. The rares are incredible. This boss excels at it. I mean, it takes a little bit of time to just get ramping, as you do need to get up some of your buffs. Things like Ice Bite and Innervate. But overall, once you're actually in the breach, you just start crushing it. So I'm going to go over the passive tree first because there's a lot of changes, and the changes on the passive tree affect the way the gem links are. So let's take a look at the passive tree, and you'll notice that there's a lot different here from the last time we looked at it. So this is all kind of the same down here below. I was able to knock off both of these Herald reservations whenever I got this new chest piece. However, I found by running one more, I was able to incorporate clarity. One thing that changed while I was redoing my gear is I lost a lot of mana gain on kill. I think this is the only one I have is 23, and that was just not enough. So being able to get clarity in down here was very helpful. And then there's also some extra tech that I went into on the tree as well that I'll show you, or not on the tree, on the gems, on the gem links to also alleviate the mana issues that I'll show you in a second here. But yeah, this is what the tree looks like. Right now I'm progressing this wheel here at the bottom for more lightning pen. Yeah, I think the big things is I completely dropped everything up here. It was just a lot of points invested, and ultimately this right here was very, very strong, but without Thief's Torment, there was no way to sustain the mana cost. Like it's just I can barely sustain it now spamming through mana flasks on bosses in single target. With this up here, yeah, there's no way. So if I had a Thief's Torment, if I was going way more into single target and bossing, which this build would excel at, this would be what I would do. And I would take all this and yeah, you can basically spit out really fast ball lightnings with this whole setup up here, but really didn't feel necessary. This trigger wheel here plus what we have here felt like kind of the exact right point for me, but again, you might have to tailor that based on what your mana looks like, how you're gaining mana, etc. So some important things, I basically took all the evasion energy shield nodes on the tree. As you can see, we have almost 2,000 life and 2,300 of energy shield. This node right here is pretty good. I mean, we don't have very much energy shield recovery. We're pretty much solely relying on Ghost Dance to give us our energy shield back, but this can help a little bit, plus the 3% movement speed is nice. Obviously, you can also get these for 24% more and plus some extra evasion rating from the helmet. These are all kind of useless. These aren't too good. That could be okay with Shadow Dancing, but it's not very good. And then obviously this whole wheel here. I did pick up the freeze buildup here. Definitely still need to get freeze buildup. And the nice thing about picking up these 4 points, basically that allowed me to drop the cold infusion on Lightning Arrow, which basically removed 50% of the lightning damage on Lightning Arrow. And instead I was able to run Glaciation, which still gives us a lot of freeze buildup, but we don't get that downside of losing all of our extra, basically fire and lightning damage. And the nice thing about that is, one, lightning arrow is just hitting harder. We're still freezing and shocking. We're actually going to be shocking a lot more now, though, which is what's nice. One thing too is that I spent like 2 hours, 3 hours the other day trying to do the fourth ascendancy, and the Trials of Sakema or whatever, Sanctum, it kept bugging out, telling me that there was a terrain generation error, so I couldn't do that. And then I started doing Ultimatum, and it would crash like, I don't know, 80% of the time. So I haven't been able to do the fourth ascendancy, however, I'm confident I'd be able to. And at that point, I would absolutely be taking I Am the Blizzard. And with this, there's even less reason to maybe not even need glaciation. At that point, definitely won't need cold infusion on Lightning Arrow either. So yeah, you just got to kind of play with that and figure out exactly how much cold damage you can get by with to still reasonably freeze enemies. Yeah, so here is the cool investment up here. So this was really cool. So I don't know, I just decided to path up here and take a look at all of this, and this branching bolts node is awesome because one of the things that Monk did worse than Deadeye is clear, because we are missing a projectile that Deadeyes get. But with something like this, we actually can get even more clear, right? So it doesn't affect Lightning Arrow itself, but the chain lightning that comes out is affected. So this normally only chains twice, but with these 3 nodes, we're actually going to have it chain an additional time, and this just helps immensely with clear. And then we're able to pick up this extra chalk chance and extra lightning damage as cold damage, which is also very beneficial again as we're trying to get more cold across the board. So getting something like this, you know, getting flat cold on your gloves, getting flat cold on your ring, and I don't have it on my bow, but you could get a significant roll on your bow as well as on your quiver. All those things can help you drop that kind of, I don't want to say dead link on lightning arrow, but it is a link that's actively making your lightning arrow do less damage. And if you don't have like an insane bow, being able to pump out just more damage from lightning arrow will feel better. Plus it'll just get more shocks. More shocks means more herald of thunders. More herald of thunders means more innervate uptime, which means more lightning damage, as well as shock siphoning, giving you a ton of energy shield back. Now, I also kind of want to look at this. Climate change could be really cool, because this is going to give us all of cold damage as extra fire damage against frozen enemies. There's going to be a lot of frozen enemies, so something like this could be really interesting. And then we could look at maybe incorporating ignite, or at the very least, we could then pick up this node for 30% increased elemental damage. There's still a lot of different things you could do with this. You know, at this point, it might be worth kind of dropping this shock chance out and going up here and getting that, or once you get enough cold damage, there's reason to believe you could probably drop this node here. That's what's been so fun about this build, and one of the reasons I liked it so much. We have so much generic elemental damage available to us at this side of the tree that you can really play anything. I was talking with someone in the comments on the last video just about all the different elemental arrows that are available to in the game, and this would be a class that could fully explore those. Like I said, I tried everything with cast on crit to ice mark to sniper's mark to the spiral arrow. Did a little bit of ice shot, but there's reason to believe that you could play just about anything on monk bow wise, and find success with it. So unfortunately, this is probably where I'm going to leave the character. I'd love to know if any of you pick this up and what your success might look like. If you guys have any questions, or if you want me to go further into this, or if you have any build ideas, yeah, I think right now, if I don't liquidate the character, I do have 200 exalts available to spend. So if you have any ideas, let me know. I'd love to check them out. But otherwise, I'm going to roll some footage from a tier 14 map with a pretty juicy breach in it. And yeah, thank you guys. If you like the video, please subscribe, leave a comment, whatever works. All right.
Feels like where this all